dun, dun. What? Okay. Listen, that the intro song, it gets me. It gets me, you know? You feel me? Like it just gets me. Thank y'all so much for gracing. What? Not yet. Thank y'all so much for coming on. Like, I'm just so appreciative. Y'all all right? Like y'all good? Cause I am. It's a great day to have a good day, so we're gonna have a good day to have a great day. Well, it's kind of evening, but okay, let's get into it. Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Y'all all right? Y'all good? Love you, Tanya. Love you, mother. Welcome to another episode of 1 Billion Brave. I'm your host, who? Domo Jones. Who? Domo. What? Can y'all tell? I have my V8 for sure. For sure. All right, so let's get into the house rules. You ready for it? Cool. Okay, so no profanity on the show. Y'all already know, like, why would we don't even talk like that. You feel me? Like, we don't even talk. Sidebar, look at the new. Can y'all look? Is that not tight? Come on. We're doing big things in a small world. Okay, no profanity. We don't do that on the show. No bashing of race, religion, gender, politics, or sexual preferences because from one blood he made all the nations. So, hi grandma, I love you. Yeah, we're not about to do none of that. Like, this is a family friendly show, and we're here to shed light and spread the love. You feel me? Where is the love, the love, the love? That's it. Also, this show is called 1 Billion Brave because it represents the 1 billion people of the world that have a disability and or medical condition. The old heads already know what I'm about to say. Get you one of us in your circle. Get you one of us. Like, you're welcome. I'm about to tell you now, you're very welcome. Get you one of us in your circle. We top tier. Like, this community is a top tier of the community. It just is. I mean, it just is. Also, one of the most important rules of the day of the show. Why I keep saying day like it's light outside? Because it's not. Like, it's definitely dark. One of the most important rules is we're talking about Jesus Christ. Yep. We do on this one. On this show, we're gonna talk about JC because, like, he the main thing. Like, that's my dog, you know? He should be yours too, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. He should be yours too, but what else? And the other most important rule is, shoot, what's the other most important rule? Oh man, I forgot. See you over there hiding, doing all these extras. What is the other rule? Oh, this show is one of the shows that has a hostess with a disability that interviews guests with disabilities and or medical conditions. So I guess you know what that means. Y'all know what it means? Lady O, Tyler Perry, and Ava DuVernay. I'm coming to all three of y'all locations. Send me your location. Let's focus on communicate. That, like, just send it to me. And Lady O, I'm coming to the house real quick. We're gonna chop it up inside because it's cold. It's a little winter wonderland. Then I'm gonna hop on across the street to Tyler Perry's house. We can go to your house. We can go to your pilot center. We can go to one of your studios. You choose. Just send me the location. And then also we're gonna go up the street around the corner real quick, 2 blocks to the left. Sister Ava DuVernay, Mother DuVernay. We're gonna go to Rockefeller, and we're gonna chop it up real quick one time for the one time. And that's it. Like, it's so simple, you know. It's so simple. It's just so simple. You feel me? That's just what we about to do. All right, so I'm super grateful for all you guys that are on here, that are tuning in, that are commenting. Like, I appreciate y'all and I love y'all. We about to get into the wood. Oh wait, before I bring out my Braveheart, y'all know this is a new month, March Madness, but it's also a an awareness ribbon month, right? So every month, for those that don't know, every month I represent a color ribbon for either cancer or a tumor. And this month is kidney cancer, which is the color orange. Boom. And it just so happened to be the colors of the doggone show. So that's dope. So those who have kidney cancer or kidney tumors, we just want to let you guys know, over here we got y'all. Over here, you're definitely represented, and we appreciate you. We rooting for you. We're praying for you. Like, you got our support. 127.3%. Period. All right, Gabe. So who is the brave heart for this week? Lay it on me. Okay. At Wonder Nova Curious. Okay, I got it. At Wonder Nova Curious. Her disability is she is deaf, blind, she has a brain injury, she's autistic and mute. Whew, that's a lot, man. Goodness, that's a lot. But the dope thing is she's smiling. She's going through all that and she's smiling. And this is a testament to people that are going through stuff, and I'm included. I ain't going through nothing, babe. Really. She had her disability medical conditions are she's deaf, blind, she has a brain injury, she's autistic, and she's mute. Dot dot dot, and she's smiling. Child, my little stuff don't mean nothing. My little tiredness. Listen, girl, stop complaining. Stop complaining, because you ain't complaining about nothing. Nova at Wonder Nova Curious over here on One Being Brave. You are the brave heart for this week, and we appreciate you. You keep doing you. I love the smile. Like, I love the smile. I think it's super dope. You ain't letting nothing stop you, girl. Man, we ain't letting nothing stop us over here. Not over here, big dog. Like, we ain't letting nothing stop us over here, big dog. Like, Okay, so I was going to do like a little segment, like a little 2, 3, 5, 7 minute segment of me talking, but I kind of feel like I want to bring out my guest because of the simple fact that I was talking to him before the show has started, and not only does he have a disability and medical condition, also, I know, right, Grandma? Also, I just found out that he's a caregiver. So I want to know all about, and for the old heads and the newcomers, y'all know I met him about 10, 15, 13 minutes before the show. So he just said yes to a stranger. And I'm appreciative of it. And I cannot wait to hear his story. And I cannot wait for y'all to hear it. I can't wait for us to hear it, Like, I'm super excited. So let's bring in, he's a national, I was about to say national recording artist, but he's not recording. A-Town, love you. He's national, international, okay? Let's bring in Chris. Chris, Greg, come on, big dog. Yo.
Hey.
How you doing?
I am doing wonderful. I have a lot of energy. I'm in Missouri Central Time Zone, 9 p.m. at night, and I am full of energy, ready to have a wonderful conversation with you and your amazing audience.
That's what I'm talking about. I love the energy. See, this is why I don't even need a segment of me. I don't even need one, because my guy about to just kill it. Like, we're already about to get into it right now. Okay, so you did say that you are from Michigan.
No, Missouri.
I mean, Missouri, my bad. I'm sorry. Missouri. But can you tell us the name of your disability or medical condition?
Yeah, actually, I'm in Southwest Missouri near Joplin, which is near the Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Kansas state border lines. But my disability, I have multiple disabilities. I decided to go for the trifecta in disabilities. I am visually impaired. I was My vision is 2200 in my left eye, 2300 in my right eye. I don't have much depth perception and all, and I don't see in 3D, which is really challenging. I also am part of the neurodiverse community. I have ADHD, which nobody has been surprised when I say that because of the amount of energy I seem to have. And I also am physically disabled. I survived an incomplete spinal cord injury about 22 years ago. So I'm unable to walk without the assistance of mobility devices. So three disabilities, visually impaired, neurodiverse, and physically disabled.
Oh, wow. So hi mom. So it's really dope that the Braveheart that I chose also had many disabilities slash medical conditions. So this is kind of dope. It's crazy how it ties in. So we're gonna break it all down. Okay, so let's start with the blindness. Can you break down of how that even began?
Yes. When I was born, many years ago, back in the 60s. So that's giving you him my age here. Uh, it was more common back then than it is today. But I was born with CRS, congenital rubella syndrome, which basically means while my mom was carrying me, she was exposed to the German measles. And although she did not really get sick, maybe a little morning sickness, I caught the measles while I was in the fetus, and I was born with some complications that resulted in me being born with cataracts. And I've been legally blind since birth.
Wow. Okay, so being that you started off legally blind, like how did you have to learn your way about maneuvering or grabbing stuff or just learning about life?
Well, to me, a lot of people ask me this question: what's it like to see with your vision? And I can't answer that because I don't know what normal vision is. This is normal to me, so I just adapted to it. Just what I saw and what I did, and I just figured it out as I went along because nobody really knew what it was like for me to see. Although doctors would describe my vision because of the cataracts, is if you woke up in the morning, and I know you're in California. You're in Southern California. I used to live in Northern California, and the fog in Northern California is really thick at times in the winter. If you were
Mhm.
looking through fog every single day, 24 hours a day, that's what they say my vision would be like to you who has, I'm assuming, 20/20 vision or near 20/20 vision. But to me, it looks crystal clear because this is all I've known my entire life. So I just did things that normal kids would do and just figured it out as I was going along.
That is amazing. So I see you have glasses. Do the
Yes.
glasses help? Do the glasses kind
Oh yeah.
of they do help?
Oh yeah. Yeah, because without the glasses, now we're on video. Oh, I don't have it in here. I'm sorry. You
It's
sent me
okay.
the email to turn off my cell phone, so I put it in another room. But for me I'm gonna grab something here. This is a prop. These are little like post-it stickers for bookmarks. So this is my
Uh-huh.
cell phone. I got to get about this close to my eye, which is about 2 to 3 inches away to see. Now, if I didn't have my glasses on, it would even have to be closer. So yes, the glasses do help a lot.
Wow. Okay, so do you see color?
Oh yeah, I can see colors. But
That
I
is
mentioned before we went on there, I love the colors. I love the blue and the orange, and because as you can see around me, blue is my color. My hat's blue, my shirt's blue, my
yeah,
curtains
yeah.
behind me are blue, my chair is blue, my rollator is blue, my water bottle is blue,
Yeah.
my Kleenex box is blue. The list goes on. Blue is my color. The walls in this room are blue.
Or blue.
I have a blue
Love
neon
it.
clock off camera, and I have blue lights around my TV screen. I have a
That is
blue
so
scooter.
listen, I love the color blue too. I love the color blue.
Very
So my grandma
soothing.
asked, well, she made a statement that were the did the other senses take over?
Yeah, I have a better hearing. I can hear sounds a little bit more acutely than other people can. My father-in-law learned this from me. I can hear sounds of cars acting up before anyone else can, and he would take his car to the shop. Look, my son-in-law says it's making a noise. Find the noise. So, because I can hear it
You
before.
know that's so funny because I have a physical disability and a
Mhm.
lot of people ask me like do your other senses come into play, like, and my hearing is so heightened, like I can hear typically things that people don't hear. You can be talking a mile away and I hear everything that you said. Everything is so like heightened. So it's crazy that your sense of hearing has heightened. Now, has your sense of touch heightened at all either?
Um, I, yeah, I don't know if it's heightened or not, but I'm more keen and aware to touching things. When we lived in St. Louis, I was born and I was raised there before I moved to California.
Mhm.
We had cable back when actually people wanted to have cable. Now everyone's
Yeah.
cord cutting, and we had the cable box on top of the TV, and I would sit on the floor and raise my hand above the TV, not even looking at it, and I could feel the buttons to type in the channel number. And my parents were like amazed, like, how do you do that without being able to see them? And I can feel and I memorize where things are. So I was able to figure out where the button 5 is and work off of that on there. And I'm great with telephones and keypads and all that kind of stuff because I do a lot of memorization and a lot of feeling. And if I drop something on the floor, I might not be able to see it, but I can feel around and I can feel different textures. And the
Mhm.
other day, my mom lives with my wife and I. She's 85. She'll love me for telling you that.
Oh,
And
85.
yeah, she's 85, and she was feeling a breeze behind her recliner, and she thought, I'm going crazy. Is there something wrong with the HVAC because the heater's on? And I was able to feel along the window that's behind her chair whether the tiny leak of cold air coming in. So we're going to get the window guy out to fix that. But I was able to feel that with my fingers because I'm that sensitive to feeling different sensations and touch and climate temperatures.
Wow, like that's amazing how you may have a limitation in one sense, but it heightens up your other senses.
It's
So
very
for
true. It
you,
does.
like growing up, did you ever have to use like braille? Did you ever have to use some type of like accessory to help you?
No, in kindergarten, I went to the Missouri School for the Blind, kindergarten through second grade, and I learned 4 letters in Braille. I could spell bad. I could spell dad. I learned A, B, C, and D, and I never learned any of the other alphabet, but I know how to do A, B, C, and D in Braille. So no, I have enough vision. I can see. I had a lot of large print books, and when I was a
Okay.
kid, we had a rotary dial phone. I don't know how many people remember rotary dial
I
phones.
remember. I
Oh,
remember.
good. Good. And my parents got this overlay that they put over the phone next to numbers, so it would be bigger text for the letters and the numbers and all. I took it off and I told them I don't want to use that. And they asked me why, and I said, because the world is not going to adapt to my disability. I must adapt to the world. And so all my life I found ways to adapt to the world because not everything's going to be in large print. Not everything's going to be
Yeah.
accessible to me. So I had to figure out a way to make the world accessible to me by myself.
That is so amazing. I definitely remember the rotary phone.
We're
I remember,
old, but we lived through the greatest decade ever, the 80s.
yeah. I was born in '88, but I still had I still had a little piece of it. I still had a little piece of it. But that is amazing how you were still able to navigate life in your way.
Mhm.
Because
I'm
normal, like
stubborn.
I don't want to say normal people, the average people go to Braille.
Right.
That's typically what they guide you to. But for you to be like, no, I don't that's not gonna help me. Like that's super dope. And you found your way. I think that is amazing.
Well, because not
Um,
everything's going to be in Braille. So, and I have enough vision, fortunately, thank God that I do, that I was able to read and use regular printed material. Now, if it's really tiny in the 21st century, I take my cell phone out, I open up the camera, and I pinch out to zoom in, and I can read really tiny print, the tiny print the lawyers don't want you to read when you sign a
yes,
contract.
you can read the fine print.
Yeah.
You can read the fine print, yo. That is
Oh, yeah.
amazing. I think
Little
that is
hack.
like that's so dope. How I'm already loving your story, and we're only on part one. We got two more other parts. Well, we got three more other parts.
3.
Right, we
Yeah.
got three more other parts. Um I think that the way you navigate life and the way you found your way, I think that's dope. And that's a testament to people that the normal go-to accommodation that other people tell you to go to is that doesn't always work for you. You find
Mhm.
what works for you.
That's right.
And I think that's super dope. Okay, so we don't go to part two. We don't go to We're gonna go to number two. Okay,
Okay.
you said neurodiversity, ADHD, right?
Yes.
Okay, so can you break that? First of all, can you break that down for people that may not know what that is?
Okay. I'm not a doctor. I don't play a doctor on TV, so this is a
Disclaimer.
layman's explanation of this. Excuse me.
No, you're good.
I apparently also have allergies, but that's not really a big enough story to talk about.
It
Uh,
is. It is because I have allergies too.
anyway, ADHD, no, it presents differently in women than it does men. But for men, for boys, a lot of energy and a lot of defiance of rules. And I was a definite rule breaker. When I was a kid, I thought the rules applied to everybody but me. You heard that expression, there's an exception to every rule. I was the exception. and
You're
and,
exception
and
to
it
all
got
the
me.
rules.
Oh yeah, and it got me into a lot of trouble. I saw the principal on a daily basis, sometimes before the first bell. Sometimes I enjoyed talking with him so much I went to his office twice in one day. So, and it got me expelled from 2 schools, and I don't like calling it expelled. I say I was invited to seek education elsewhere. And I also was invited to seek education elsewhere from 2 different colleges because of ADHD or neurodiverse related issues. So it just, for me, is a enormous amount of energy, which I don't know if anyone can notice from this interview that I have an abundance of energy and I'm bouncing off the walls most of the time. So, and it causes me to challenge rules. One of the things
Yeah.
I did in college, we were in a classroom and there was a sign in the classroom, no food or drink. So I went in there with a pizza and a Pepsi. And I said to the instructor, the sign said no food or drink. I have food and drink.
And a drink.
The next day, the sign was changed.
That is so. Love you, Tim. That is so funny. Okay, so that is hilarious. Okay, so with your ADHD and you finding out, well, how did you find out? Was it from a kid? How?
Well, in ninth grade, when the second time I was invited to seek education elsewhere, which is a great story of how that happened. It was the 10th day of my freshman year, and I came to school in a really bad attitude. I
Mhm.
was, punching a lock or tearing down signs on the wall. Went in the classroom, I threw my notebook into the trash can across the room and all. The teacher was not going to have my attitude that day, so he told me to go to the principal's office. Now,
Mhm.
I went to the principal's office. I was going to get Saturday morning detention. And if I got Saturday morning detention, my mom was going to ground me. And in September, I'm in St. Louis at the time. I thought, there's not that many nice days left before winter. I want to be with my peace, my friends.
Yeah.
My buds. So I
Yeah.
refused to go. So he had the principal come to the classroom. And I thought, okay, I got to figure a way out of this. Now, this is my ADHD mind coming up for solution. And I'm 14 at the time. I decided to do this. When the principal walked into the classroom, he walked up to the left side of my desk and he said, come with me. And I refused to go. So I pulled my leg back, my left leg back, as far as I
Mhm.
can, and kicked him in the shin, thinking it would scare him away and I would not get Saturday morning detention. Well, I did not get Saturday morning detention. I got expelled. And this close is like a paper thin to having charges pressed against me for assault. And I wound up in a special program with kids with behavior problems. And that's when we started to talk about maybe I have ADHD or some kind of diagnosis. And the holdup on that was this. My dad did not care that much for psychiatry and all of that stuff. So my
Yeah.
pediatrician had to be careful what he said and gave to me. But by the time I got through high school, which I did earn the privilege to go back to the same high school and graduate on time with my class, which I believe I was the first person ever expelled from that high school to be allowed to return.
Come
And
back.
then my senior year when I went to college, I got a diagnosis. I had ADHD. Oh, I started on some ADHD meds, but in my mid 30s, when I got invited to seek education elsewhere from my second college, we got an official diagnosis that I had ADHD, so I can appeal the suspension, which I should should have been called in the carpet for something I did for an instructor, but it should not have went to the expulsion level. And we got that appealed, and we got that off my record. So it was a process that took into my early to mid 30s to get the official diagnosis, but we
Official
suspected
diagnosis.
it for many, many years.
So when you got the diagnosis, did it kind of click like, okay, so this is why it's not you just being rebellious. It's because you actually have a not disability but medical condition.
Right. Well, you can call it medical condition. You can call it neurodiverse. You can call it possibly, some people call it learning disability. I don't think it is because I'm very intelligent. Just, I have a different way of learning. That's why it's
Right.
neurodiverse. But it was like, finally, somebody recognized it in me because
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, I got expelled, and the school said you got to have a letter to get this cleared off of there. And I went to my doctor, and I told her, and she said, seriously, they need a letter. If they look up ADHD in the dictionary, they're going to see a picture of you. You are the poster child of it. She said, fine. So we did some of the tests. We did not do all of them. She said, you're ADHD. I don't need to spend any more time running these tests. Let me write a letter to the dean of the college, and we'll be squared away. And that's what we
Yeah.
did.
That okay, so for you, because everybody deals with their ADHD differently. So for you, what is there, if is there a trigger that kind of heightens it? And if so, how do you bring it back to a level to where you can cope?
What I've learned, I won't say they're the trigger, but I learned that certain times of the day, I got to have a balanced day in the sense there's certain times very structured and certain times that are unstructured. Like I do
Mhm.
writing. I've written 3 books, two that are
Three?
out, yeah, and one that's coming out later this spring. So I've written 3 books, and I found in the morning I can't be disturbed. I can get laser focused. Then in the
Mhm.
afternoons, I'm not that laser focused. I got to have other things going on. So I may record a podcast. I have my own podcast. I may record a podcast in the afternoon or do some social media posting, which I hate social media. I really hate it, but it's necessary evil. Or I may do other little projects I can't really focus in. And then there's some time I just have free time. And then in the evenings, I like to read a book and all. And if I have a routine, that helps me manage it, where I have a nice
Mm.
mixture of being laser focused and a nice mixture of being extremely creative and sometimes just to be me and just release some energy in an appropriate way, which is something my wife reminds me of. Appropriate way.
Appropriately. That makes sense though. So you have to have, categories. You
Right.
have to have your categories of focus. You have to have your categories of just let me be creative. Like let me just, and you have to have your categories of intelligent where you're reading and getting your
Right.
mind reading. That
I call it time blocking.
yes, that's good. And I feel like low key, I feel like everybody need that
Yeah.
because that's a great balance because
It
you'll
is,
lose your
because
mind.
if you're organized, you have a structure and a plan and a routine, you're going to get more done than being disorganized and thinking, "Oh my gosh, I got to get caught up on this project," or "Oh my gosh, I'm way behind on this," or I need to fix this project," and you skip all over and you don't get anything done. Everyone, whether you have ADHD or not, I believe should have time blocking and a routine, because it's going to help you with ADHD. It also helps with anxiety. It can help with autism. It can help fight depression. A
Yes.
routine and a time blocking is a really good tool everyone should use.
Yeah. And it helps you accomplish things because if you're trying seven different things at one time, you're not going to accomplish not even one.
No, you're not.
So
No.
take that time to finish that one thing. That you already talking, okay? That's what I'm talking about. Define yourself. I love
Yes.
that. Okay,
Yes.
real quick. This is a sidebar because you said
Sure.
it, so now we gotta talk about it. Can we talk about the books?
Yes.
What you write about?
I've written 3 books. The first one is called "It Doesn't Define Me: How I Rebuilt My Life After Surviving an Ischemic Stroke to my spinal cord." Very long title. I learned not to make them that long, but I was going for SEO, search engine optimization, so that's why the title's really long. And it's about how I became physically disabled, which we can talk about in a little bit. My
Yeah.
second book that I wrote was called The Cheeseball Clan, and The Cheeseball Clan: Who's Your Bully is for middle grade readers, but adults even enjoy too. It's 3 kids that started at a middle school, and one of them is being bullied, and they have to figure out who that bully is before it destroys their friendship. And the third book
Mm.
is called Success Starts with Self Confidence. 10 steps to 10 steps to self-confidence for the person with a disability, and that's coming out this spring, and that's based upon my own experiences in realizing everything I've achieved in my life, besides my faith, it because of my self confidence, and everything I've fallen short of doing it because my self confidence level was low. And I share
Mm.
the 10 steps I've used over the last 30 years of my life to discover, develop, and grow my self confidence. And I wrote this book so other people who are younger than me do not spend 30 years to get to the level of self confidence, so they can start achieving success at a lot earlier age than I did as a person with a disability. So I
I
also
love
do
that.
that, and I wrote that book because I am a certified confidence life coach who serves the disabled community to help them develop and grow, discover, develop, and grow the self confidence so that they can do whatever they want in life. In particular, becoming self-employed. We have a horrible unemployment rate for persons with disabilities, but
Yeah.
we are rocking it in self-employment, working from home. And what it's going to take to do that, among other things, is having self-confidence, because without
Hmm.
self-confidence, you're limiting your potential for success.
Hmm. I love that. Hi, Miss Charlotte, love you. I think that is so dope because we, and I'm speaking for myself too, because I'm a part of the disabled community. We sometimes struggle with having the confidence to navigate life with a disability because one, the social media world that we live in, they have a depiction of what life is supposed to look like and how you're supposed to look physically, and we have that disadvantage, but that doesn't mean that we're less capable of dot dot dot. So I think that's dope that you're bringing awareness and reminding people that especially have disabilities that bring that confidence out. And not only that, you can be your own boss. Like, do not let the world depict on what is considered accomplished, what's considered you being great, you doing great, because we killing the game in this being entrepreneur and business owners. We killing the game. We're
Hey,
killing, and I think I honestly, and I'm gonna stick by this. I think when we got that mindset is when the pandemic happened because everybody had to shut down.
oh
And
yeah.
we was like, oh, we do this for a living.
Yeah, because from the pandemic and not minimizing the tragic loss of life, a lot of things have exploded. Working from home has become more mainstream and acceptable. Zoom, I wish I had invested in Zoom because I could be a millionaire by now.
Listen,
And so that exploded as well, and there's more opportunities to work from home and do great things like that. And you know, you're talking about being entrepreneurs and all, and being our own bosses, and that's what my business name is. Hashtag define yourself. Don't let
yeah,
anyone tell you what you can and cannot do, what you can and cannot believe. Only you can define who you are and who you will
yes,
become, and that's where the name came from. Hashtag define yourself, because we're all in charge of defining ourselves. We don't need anyone else to put labels on us, because I hate labels. Labels belong on soup cans, not on me.
oh, that's good. Gabe, put that in. Gabe, 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 write that. Labels go on soup cans, not on me. That was such a great. That line was top tier, Chris. That line was top tier. That was so good. I'm gonna say that. I'm just letting you know. I'm gonna give you your credit, but I'm gonna say it because that was really good. Now, thank you. That y'all see that? That line, that was good. Labels go on soup cans, not on me. Come on, because they do. You can't label me. That's why I don't believe in them zodiac signs stuff. You can't tell me who I am based on the sign. What?
A lot of
We
people
don't
use
know.
labels to try to make themselves feel superior over other people and put people down, and that's not what that we should not be doing that. A lot of people do this. We even do this to ourselves in the disabled community. Unfortunately, some of us do this. We got to quit labeling people, and it's not a competition. We're all human beings, and all these labels, and I know we want to stay away from politics, so I'm going to stay away from that. But basically, all these labels and oh, I'm better than, I don't like that person because of the label I have on them. None of that's going to matter when you return home to the Lord, because none of this would. I saw a man. I want to stay away from the religion too deeply, but I saw a
That's good.
minister say this, and he said, if you don't like diversity, you're not going to like heaven. And we're all the same people. We're all the same. We're just human beings trying to survive in this world and make a positive impact.
That's literally it. Because from one blood, he made all the nations, all
Hmm.
of them. From one blood, that's so good. That is so good. And I feel like people really need to understand that, because I personally think, because we have a human mind, we have to categorize people, that we have to categorize labels as like an understanding. Like, okay, so I'm putting you under this category so I can understand you. But you're never going to understand. You're never going to understand, because we're not made in this world. We're made of it. We're not made in it. That's good. Chris, you are right with me. Like, we friends for life for sure.
Okay, good.
We are friends for life. Okay, I definitely want to, because this definitely ties into now part three, the physical disability. So
Yes.
can you break that down? What is your physical disability, or what the name of it is?
Well, it's called an ischemic stroke to my spinal cord, or to the spinal cord. What that is to lay people is a stroke, because it looks a lot
Mhm.
like a stroke. I have weakness in parts of my body, and when I move around, it looks like I had a stroke. But
Mhm.
medically, it is actually considered a spinal cord injury, and my injury has robbed me of the ability at first to run, walk, or even stand. The injury happened. I was engaged at the time,
Mhm.
and it happened because another thing that happened with my birth, the CRS, is I had a constricted aorta, and I've had to have surgeries on that at birth and through my childhood. And I was in
Mhm.
my mid 30s at the time, and the surgeries that they did as a kid, I had outgrown. So they had to do an ascending to descending aortic bypass. During sometime between the time I got on the gurney and pre-op and woke up in the CVICU, that's when my injury occurred, when I survived an ischemic stroke to spinal cord. What happened? We don't know for sure, because hospitals don't like getting sued, so they're not going to tell me. But from what we could tell from the medical records, and we had an attorney look at this, not to sue as much as try to understand what happened to me. Either
Yeah.
my blood pressure suddenly dropped or spiked during surgery, and the anesthesiologist may not have reacted to it properly or whatever, and that may have caused it. But the truth is, it doesn't really matter who caused it, who's at fault, and all. I mean, they're going to live with that if they know that they did something, because that's not going to change what's going on in my life. And that's one thing I realized very early on. And it did rob me of my ability to run, walk, or even stand. But the amazing thing is this: I was in outpatient therapy. I was in the hospital for 2 weeks and rehab hospital for 3 weeks. Made it home. I had to make some adaptations to my house. It's all in the book. Um, and I was in outpatient therapy. Well, about 6 months into outpatient therapy, my insurance company said, we're not paying for this anymore because you're not making a lot of progress. Because usually after an
Wow.
injury, you have what's called spontaneous recovery, where you're going to have the
Mhm.
most recovery in that first 6 months. And you're going to have more, but it's going to slow down. So the
Yeah.
insurance company, I put it this way, gave up on me, but I didn't give up on myself. And it took me 5 or so years after that to teach myself how to walk with a rollator, which is a walker with four wheels on it, on my own, because I was that determined to walk again. And I still get around with a rollator, but longer distances I have to use a scooter. But yeah, it turned my world upside down, and it was a
Mhm.
very scary time. I was engaged, and I wanted so badly to get back home and give my wife. We did get married, so that's a spoiler alert in the book. Uh, the happily ever after every bride wants in their life, and I was able to do it.
Wow. That is, I mean, like, every situation that you have been through is like a wow. And it's amazing. I'm just so grateful, and I am so humbled that I'm able to hear it and that you're on my show sharing it, because I think that so many people need to hear this, but I think that your stories are so powerful. Every single story, like, is just powerful. Okay, so for you, um like you said, you were in a season of you about to get married.
Yes.
So for you in that moment, what did it feel like? Well, I'll ask this. Um, did your fiance at the time, was it hard for her to kind of understand what was going on? And was she able to like adapt because that was a quick turnaround?
We actually got engaged about 9 weeks before my injury. And we got engaged on May 18th, 2002. My injury occurred on July 25th, 2002. Now, she knew I was disabled to the point of my visual impairment. And
Mm-hmm.
she also was there when we fought the college and got my ADHD diagnosis. So,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of people in our community, this is kind of going to build to your answer here, are afraid of dating because of the
Yeah.
disability, because of rejection. And unfortunately, it does happen. But
Mm-hmm.
and I had that fear too when I was dating. But I am so grateful that I had a visual impairment and had a white cane at the time, because it did chase some women, some girls away, but it helped. And I believe God put it in my life for maybe for other reasons as well, but for this reason,
Mm-hmm.
it helped attract the right woman who would be by my side when I had my incomplete spinal cord injury. When we had that injury, I was in the hospital. She stayed there 24/7 for 2 weeks, sleeping, sitting up in a very uncomfortable chair, and helping me. I could not even open up a milk carton on my own. I could not even
Wow.
turn myself in the bed. I would get hot because I could not get out from the sheets. She took care of me 24 hours a day at the hospital, only going home once or twice to take showers and change clothing. So she was super through the whole thing. And it's because we had built a really great relationship. We've been dating for 2 years. And whenever her grandmother, grandfather, or her mom was in the hospital, I would always be by her side through it. So we had built a really strong relationship and a friendship that transcended everything else that could go wrong in our life. And when we're getting close to marriage, as you probably know, in California, it's required that you have marriage counseling. We told the minister what we've been through, and he said, "Look, you guys can survive that. You're going to be fine at marriage. I'm going to sign off on the marriage counseling because you don't need it."
Y'all going through it. Y'all been through it.
Oh yeah,
Wow. Like I think that first of all, I think that's so beautiful that she stuck by you.
oh
Like
yeah.
because that's huge. You don't really find a lot of people
Now,
that
sometimes
stick
people will
for
run. I've
yes,
heard of that
exactly.
happening, and that's so heartbreaking and sad.
Yeah. So true. They definitely do run
Hmm.
because they don't want to deal with it. And they're not dealing with anything. You
Right.
are. Like
Yeah.
we are. But I think that's a beautiful story, and I'm glad that you said that because it's a testament that people that do have disabilities, they still have a chance for someone out there just for them. And I feel like your wife, your fiance at the time, now your wife, was literally designed just for you because for her to already deal or not deal with, for her to already understand your prior to disabilities or medical conditions, and then with this drastic change of now you physically down, and she was like, I don't care. Like I'm still rocking with you, and I think and you guys are still married today. Like I think that is
Yeah.
beautiful.
Now, the one thing I like to comment on, and I hate to do this because you're the host or hostess, but you said they don't have, when I'm going through what I was going through, they don't have anything to deal with. I disagree with that because when, when there's a couple, what
Hmm.
happens to one does affect the other. And she had to deal with this too. Her own feelings like, oh my gosh, the man I wanted to marry is now physically disabled.
Yeah,
Is he going
yeah,
to be able to come home from the rehabilitation hospital? What kind of life are we going to have? How are we going to, because this was not in the wedding plans.
yeah.
So she
Hmm.
had stuff she had to deal with. So respectfully, I have to disagree with that statement that you said she did not have anything to deal with.
No, it's cool. I definitely agree. I didn't see it from that perspective. Um, so I accept that. I accept that correction for sure, for sure, for sure. Because they do. It may not be in the physical aspect that we deal with,
Right.
but it's in the emotional aspect. So yeah, like correct me. Okay. I have no problem understanding from that point of view. For sure. But I still think that it was beautiful that she still stuck by you, regardless of what it looked like from the outside.
Right.
Now we gotta dive into
Part
part
4.
4. It's just amazing how this all like it all goes into it because um well I'm gonna let you say what your part 4 now you guys are married and now you're on the opposite side and you're a caregiver.
Yes, I am.
Now can you explain that lifestyle of
Yeah,
what you do?
yeah, and when we were engaged and first got married, she was somewhat of a caregiver for me. While we were still dating, she would drive all the way across town in the morning to help me get up and get dressed in my apartment, then drive
Mhm.
halfway across town to her job. After she got off her job, she drove halfway across town, took care of me, cooked dinner, because initially I was not able to use my own bathroom. We had to have a little commode in the living room. She would
Mhm.
empty that for me once or twice a
Wow.
day while she was taking an accelerated master's degree program in the evening, and then go home and do that each and every day. She was a great caregiver and supportive of me during the time after my injury up to and even beyond up into our marriage. And then marriage, she didn't have to drive across town. We were living in the same apartment.
Yeah, yeah.
But that was 20, 21, 22 years ago, and she had been wonderful in that. And then 3 years ago, on April 8th, 2021, she was working from home. It was COVID, and she worked for a cellular network as a call center representative. And she got off the call. It was lunchtime, and she went in the kitchen, and her back had been hurting for a while, and she was going to schedule some physical therapy. In the middle of the phone call, she just stopped talking and started stammering, and I wrapped up the call, and she fell backwards and had a grand mal seizure on the kitchen floor, which scared the daylight. I've never seen one of those before.
Okay, wait. Before you finish, can you explain what a grandma surgery is?
A grandma seizure is,
I mean, grandma
and
surgery.
again, I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on TV, but she fell to the floor. She started shaking and vibrating and all, and losing control of her body and all. And she apparently bit her tongue real badly. And I just quickly called 911. I thought she was having a stroke, and
Mhm.
because we got the paramedics to the house in record amount of time, and they had to carry her, get her on a gurney, carry her out of the house. And she swears she was talking. All she was making was gibberish sounds to us. And I thought, oh my God, she's had a stroke. I'm never going to be able to have a conversation with her again. So we got her to the hospital via ambulance. And they finally let me back in the emergency room after they got her stabilized and all. And at first, she did not even know who I was because the grandma seizure was that bad. And the doctors came in and told us, well, your wife's had a seizure and she also has cancer, and they found it in her back. And that because she fell on the floor and all, and she damaged one of her vertebrae, they had to do surgery on that. And then we found out it's stage 4 cancer. And during the week we were in the hospital, and when I say week, I spent 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, next to her in the hospital room, sleeping on. This time they had a nice little visitor's bed next to the window I could lay on. It's like a little couch.
Mhm.
So I did
Mhm.
that. During that time, we found out the source of it was a cancer mass in her breast, which was, and is still not attached to anything, that it floats around. So she never was able to detect it. And I know this is a family friendly show when she did her monthly examinations. So if you know what I
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah.
So we found out she has stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. She had to go on short-term medical leave from work. She was off for 6 months, went back for 6, but the stress was getting to her and she was having memory problems. So she went on long-term disability before she did something that would get her fired. She worked for this cell phone company for almost 20 years. We don't want to get fired and lose, pensions and benefits. So she took long-term disability and all, and she has now worked for about 2 years, I think. Yeah, about 2 years. And she's now at home. She's doing okay, but she sleeps more. I take care of her more. I accompany her I accompany her to all of her doctor's appointments, all of her procedures, all of her tests, everything. I've only missed one because one popped up at the last minute, and I was already committed to a publicity summit event that I was being paid an honorarium to be at, and I really could not turn that down. I like
Mhm.
money. I like living indoors, so I had to do that. But I've been at all of these and been by her side. I help manage her medicine. I advocate for her with the doctors. I order her meds. I make sure she takes them. I make sure they're set up. I will cook for her. I will bring stuff from the kitchen from her, even though I'm physically disabled. I'm cooking her meals. I'm bringing her, bottles of water, whatever she wants from the kitchen, and she's very grateful for it. And I know I'm making a lot of husbands look bad right now, but because my nephew, his wife came down and she saw how I helped her and how we helped one another, and
Yeah.
she said, "How come I don't have a marriage like that?" And I went, "Well, my nephew is going to get an earful, and he's going to be so
He's gonna
happy with me
give it
later."
air.
But yeah, I am now her caregiver, and I'm very honored to do that and to repay her for all the years she took care of me, especially initially after my incomplete spinal cord injury.
Oh my gosh. I think it's amazing, and I think it's a beautiful statement that you said you're able to honor her
Yeah,
in now being her caregiver. That speaks volumes because um you were at a place where she needed you, now you were at a place where you needed her, now she needed you, and
right.
it's an equal it's an equal sacrifice. It's an
Oh
equal
yeah,
giving and equal sacrifice, and I think that's
that's what
beautiful.
love is really about. I mean,
Yeah.
young people think, "Oh, love's gonna be so beautiful. It's gonna be happily ever after," and then you get to the wedding for richer or poor, for in sickness and health. They're thinking, "Yeah, well, that's for somebody else. I have that problem. We won't," and it can happen to anybody. And you got to be prepared for this and realize you may be, taking care of your spouse and all, and it's part of being married, being a grown up. You have to be
Yeah.
willing to do that if, not look at it as a chore, as a burden, but as a way of showing love. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can show somebody love. You can buy candy, Valentine, flowers, whatever. You can
Mhm.
buy guys a subscription to the NFL Sunday Ticket. I mean, that might be about the same. uh, this is really showing true love when you are willing to
Yeah.
take care of somebody unconditionally.
Yeah, yeah. And Kendall said it, Kendall said unconditional love at its finest. And I think
Mhm.
that is literally what the definition of what your marriage is and has been. And I think that's beautiful. Just to give more clarity, your wife is she going through radiation, right?
Yes, yes. She went through radiation last May, 10 days. She was having a lot of pain in her right elbow because right now the cancer is in her left breast and, in her bones. It's in her skull. It's in her neck, her shoulder on her right hand side, her elbow, her rib cage. Not in the legs yet, but down in that kind of an area, down the side on the right side. So she did some
Hmm.
radiation on her elbow last year, and that took away the pain. Well, the pain came back, and they discovered it's now the source is it's in the neck and the collarbone and the shoulder. So they're doing radiation on her neck and collarbone, shoulder area, and she's through four of the treatments. Yeah, four of the treatments. We have six more to go. We go there every Monday through Friday in the morning for it's a 7 to 10 minute treatment. It takes 30 minutes to get there, 30 minutes to go home, but whatever. We go and do that for the next 6 7 days, whatever it is, and we go through that. And she's having some side effects from it. She has a sore throat, which they told us that could happen. She has a lot of pain in her back, and the doctor explains at the radiating it, the cancer does not want to be killed, so the cancer is having a temper tantrum and causing more pain in the back. So I massage her back 3 or 4 times a day, and she also is having some trouble with little difficulty swallowing, which they also warned us could be a side effect. And they also warned us these side effects could be temporary, or this is a scary part. Some of these side effects may remain with her for the rest of her life.
I, uh, man, all right. So is stay strong. All right. It's personal because my grandma said, "What's her name?"
Her name is Kimberly.
Kimberly, because she's probably gonna pray for her. It's personal because I'm trying not to cry. I went through um I went through radiation, so I know what I know what that feels like, and it's just like, man, I went through it. I didn't have as many complications as your wife does, but she's so strong, and man, okay, all right, she's so strong, and you're so strong to deal with things. You already deal with your own. You already deal with your own stuff, and then your wife is dealing with things, and it to me, just from the outside looking in, it's like you're hearing all this bad. It's just like you just keep hearing all this bad stuff, and you have to take it. And I'm just like, you're you and your wife are the definition of like faith. I trust in God, and that's it. Like you guys are really like literally the definition of not my will, but God's will be done in any aspect of life. And I'm just so grateful that you're able to share your story and your wife's journey on here, and people are able to hear it and listen and be grateful for their life, because you never know what people deal with. Like you really don't. Man, you're so you're you're very strong.
Well, thank you.
You're very strong, and your wife
You
is
really don't
too.
have a choice when you sign up to be married. I mean, this is part of what can happen in a marriage, and you just have to be that strong for people. I mean, I've been very blessed with that. I face a lot of adversities in my life, and I refuse to be defeated by them or defined by them. And and I think that it's also making me very strong during this because it's a way of showing love for your spouse. Is to be strong during even the darkest and scariest times in a relationship or in their life.
Man, I definitely didn't think I was gonna cry. Didn't think I didn't think I was gonna cry, but that hit from personal experience. So for you, what keeps you going?
Well, um, I don't. I, I don't know a lot about cancer. Like I said, I'm not a doctor, but I also know is I'm in a cancer support group for those that are battling cancer and their caregivers. So I read a lot, and I've had I know people who have battled cancer, some who defeated, some who lost the battle. I know, and this is hard for me to say, but I know it's going to get worse. I keep telling myself I know this is bad, but be and I mean this respectfully, enjoy this because it's going to probably get a lot worse down the road, and I know that, and I know it can go sideways. That's how I say it at any time, and I just know that I need to be there for her. I don't want her to go through this alone. I am taking better care of my health than I did before. And I should have done this earlier in my life, but I want to make sure she does not die alone. I mean, you don't think about this when you first get married, but you're thinking, one of us is going to have to go first. And like, I, you don't really want to say, I hope she goes first, or I hope I go first. But now that she has cancer, I hope she goes first. And not because I want her to die. I don't. But I don't want to die before her, and she has to face the rest of that cancer battle without me. So that's very important to me, and that keeps me going, that I need to be there for her through this battle, and I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure I'm there to her very last breath, so she does not have to face this alone. I hate the idea of dying by myself, but I would rather go through that trauma. We don't have kids. um, and all. Uh, and I'm not that great. I'm not close with my family, so I will probably wind up dying alone. I would rather go that through that than her go through that, and with knowing what she's going to be facing or potentially facing with for cancer. So that what keeps me going is I want to be here for her. And I did some research this a while back, but people who are, and this is a scary number, who spouse whose wife has cancer and the husband doesn't, and they're the caregiver. I, if I remember correctly, 56% of the time, the husband will leave the wife. I do not want to be part of that 56%. And I want to be here through every moment of this and take care of her until her last breath. And that what keeps me going because I'm committed that much to my wife.
I think that's beautiful. Because that's a testament of breaking the stigma. Um, because like you said, like 56%, that's a large number. That's a very high number. And to say that you took on this vow for better, for worse, for sickness or for health, and you don't stick by it because it's reality, because it's actually, you have to face it. But you have the mentality of, I'm sticking by those vows, literally, through sickness and health, death do us part. Like, I think that is beautiful. And I appreciate, the vulnerability. It's not easy talking about this situation. It's not easy talking about what you're dealing with yourself, but it's really not easy talking about your wife and your take on it, being a caregiver, and the reality of what that looks like. That is very hard. And a lot of people don't talk about the real of what you as a caregiver have to deal with. On top of you already dealing with your own medical conditions and disabilities. And not only that, you're still trying to maintain life, like live in this world. I think that man, it's so powerful to hear your story, and I'm so appreciative that you took the time to come on and grace the stage and just share and be as authentic as possible. And um on over here, you got a lot of friends, you got a lot of supporters, and anything that you need. Like, we're this group, this show is a show of faith and prayer, and we are definitely going to be praying, not just for you, for your wife Kimberly. We know her name. And at my church, the Change Church, we're gonna be praying. And I'm saying it out loud live. I don't care. We're gonna be praying it. We're gonna be praying. My mom and dad are on, and they're going to, and I got a lot of people from our church that are going to be praying for you and your wife Kimberly. And I appreciate, again, I don't take it lightly, you taking the time out to share your story and to share your journey, not only personally, but as a caregiver too, for you and your wife.
Well, thank you very much. And because one of the things that that people do not always see, and this is a pet peeve of mine. I don't mind people asking me, how's your wife doing? I don't mind people, doctors even asking that. One thing that I think needs to be changed in the cancer community in particular, when the caregiver's there, also ask the caregiver how they're doing, because there's a lot of things that we're going through as caregivers. I mean, I see my wife sleeping in the recliner in the living room off and on throughout the day. She used to not do that. I already am seeing changes and how it's affecting her and how it's changed our relationship. I don't mean that, relationship problems, but the things that we used to be able to do together, we can't because of the cancer. And I see that being taken
Yeah.
away from me, and it's very painful and difficult. And everyone will ask me, we have a little group on Facebook of our friends around the country. That's how we keep them updated. They'll always
Mhm.
ask me, how's your wife doing? And I don't mind that being the first question, but very rarely does someone ever say, how are you doing? Or they may say, I'm praying for Kimberly, but not everyone says, we're praying for both of
For
you.
you.
And the
Mhm.
caregivers often get forgotten when a friend or loved one is battling cancer. And both, like we talked about earlier, both the caregiver and the cancer warrior are going through things, and they both need to be acknowledged. Just like when I had my injury, what I was going through was one thing, and what my wife was at that time fiance was going through was another. And both parties are affected by anything, especially when they are married. What one person does or what happens to them affects the other.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree. And that's one of the reasons that I wanted to bring and add on people that are caregivers on this show, because I have a disability. So I know the other side of having a caregiver. And a lot of people don't talk about it, but I think that they're definitely unsung heroes because they get overlooked, and they always have to be present. They always have to be on a 20. Always, but they have a life too that's altered. Our life is altered, but their life is altered too. And I love getting their perspective. And even like my mom is my caregiver and I brought her on. My dad's my caregiver, like I brought them on because I need the world to see like they need their voice heard too. And I appreciate you being like vulnerable and you giving your perspective of not just having a disability, but what does a caregiver look like. I appreciate that for sure. I definitely want people to follow you and stay on your journey with you, and if they provide any help that you may need, like I definitely want them to be a part of that. Can you tell everyone like how to find you? Where Gabe, can you put his information on it too? But can you tell people like where to find you?
Yeah, the best place to find me online is my website, thechrismitchell.com. Chris Mitchell is a very common name, but I'm the Chris Mitchell, TheChrismitchell.com. From there, you will be able to find my socials, which includes LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Um, I'm on there because it's a necessary evil, but I'm not on there where I like, oh my gosh, I spent my entire day on social media. So I'm there. And you can also find my YouTube channel, which there's a link to it from my website. And that's called hashtag define yourself stream. And I have almost 300 videos there, primarily talking about self-confidence, on how you can discover, develop, and grow your self-confidence, because that's what I do. I am a confidence coach, and I have a podcast. I have episodes of the podcast up there. Podcast is called Successful, Self-Employed, and Disabled, where I talk to people who are successful, self-employed, and disabled, hence the title of the name of the program, and get them to share their stories of how they develop their self-confidence to start or grow their own business. Some of them are authors, some of them advocates, whatever. For the purpose of showing that others in our community that it can be done. All it takes is self-confidence. So there's a lot of great videos there, and that's the best way to find me is at my website, thechrismitchell.com. And the name of my business and my hashtag is hashtag define yourself,
Define
because
yourself.
everyone, no one, like we mentioned earlier, labels belong in soup cans. They don't belong on me. Every Don't let anyone tell you who you are or what you can do. It's up to each and every one of us to define ourselves, and that's what define yourself is all about. For you to define who you are and who you will become in life.
I love that. Define yourself. I love that. And I'm sticking to it and everybody else stick to it too. TheChrisMitchell.com. Everyone follow him and keep up with his journey. Keep up with what he's doing because everybody needs confidence. Like everybody needs that dose of being confident.
I have a
And I
question
think
for you.
yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good.
The question is this: what percentage of people do you think struggle with self-confidence?
It's a high. I feel like an 80 percentile.
You're very close, 86%. It does not matter. That's globally. It does not matter where you live, your economic status, your racial identity, your sexual orientation, whether you're a believer or not, you're disabled
Mhm.
or not. 86% across the board struggle with self confidence.
That is high.
Yes, it is.
That's super high. And I
And I
think
want to
that's another
change it
reason.
in our community.
Yes, I was just about to say that's another reason why I feel like people need to follow you and learn your tips because that's way too high.
That
Uh-uh.
is, yeah.
That is, but I appreciate. I'm gonna be watching. I'm gonna be listening too, because you can never be too confident,
Nope.
especially someone that's living with a disability. Especially those that have disabilities, medical conditions. Please follow him, the chrismitchell.com. Hashtag define yourself. Chris, thank you again so much for gracing the stage. I appreciate it. I don't take it lightly. Thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for making me cry because I was not supposed to be crying. Man, I appreciate it so much though. I'm I always learn something from this show, but you gave me another perspective, another gratefulness for life.
Well,
For,
thank you.
for
So, in fact, I'm honored to be here tonight, and it was my privilege and pleasure to speak with you tonight and to interact with your wonderful, amazing audience. And I just encourage everyone to don't listen to the critics that tell you what you cannot do or who you are, because it's up to you to determine that for yourself. And your success is always found outside of your comfort zone. So get outside your comfort zone.
get outside your comfort zone. Period. Gabe's gonna put you in the back. We're gonna end the show and we out of here. Thank you again so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Y'all, I was not supposed to be crying. Child, I was not supposed to be crying, but that was amazing. Like, man, man, that was. Thank you, Chris, so much for coming on. I appreciate it. I think his story is just like powerful. Okay, like just awesome for no reason. I love you, Mom Sonia, and I love you, Keisha. Who else did I see? Ezel, I love you. Grandma, I love you. I appreciate all you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys so much. Thank y'all for commenting. Thank y'all for watching. Thank you guys for just listening to what we talking about this week. I appreciate it. I don't take it lightly. I absolutely love this show, and I'm grateful for the people that hop on and see what we're talking about, because you're welcome. You are definitely welcome, because a lot of people they feel like disabilities and people that have disabilities and disabled, it's a touchy subject. So I appreciate all you guys. All right, so let's get into the church announcements real quick so we can end it. It is. Thank you. I'm glad you know. I'm glad you know. Can't the bars. All right, let's get into the church announcements real quick. So next Tuesday we are live and in living color. Y'all can already tell my guests be on point. So get in where you fit in. Next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9 p.m. Mountain Time, 10 p.m. Eastern. I got it down packed now. Y'all ain't gotta tell me nothing. I got it down packed. Thank you, Gabe. Next Tuesday, we live in living color. Also, next church announcement is if you have a disability and you want to be a guest on the show, holla at me. One time for the one time. Now, don't be having no little baby scars, no little half I split my toenail. Don't be doing none of that. We need some real life stuff. Period, point blank, and period. Also, this is a quick reminder. Spring Forward this Sunday. It starts on Sunday. So put them clocks a little forward and make sure you're adjusting to the time. I love y'all. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. We're in a like swimwear. Like, we're going to the top. Okay. Okay. And we're international. We're doing big things in a small world. We're doing big things in a small world. All right, y'all, don't log off because Gabe got a little, I got a little after. What? It's not called Afterglow. Mom, you got me thinking Afterglow. It's not an Afterglow. But just don't log off. Y'all see why. All right, we out. I love y'all. Period. And y'all better love me too. All right. Gabe, get me out of here. Y'all ain't know what to do. Until next time. Love you.